For me, I grew up as a kid going to car shows with my dad. And man, I just love seeing all these custom cars and the metal work that went into them. And so I've been kind of doing that my whole life. And then I met her, and she was into it too. So we both kind of like combined stuff and just started working together, and it just kept growing and growing.
I grew up very mountain man, Native American kind of. So I grew up doing leather work kind of just out of necessity, making things to use. And as I started to do more and more of it, it kind of became a business. And then when we met, I was doing that, and then I already did metal when I was in high school. I really enjoyed it. So I kind of picked up more when I met him. And then I started getting some leather jobs through the steel mill, and then got metal jobs through the steel mill. And then we got a bigger job working on some shipping containers, turning them into restaurants. And then I said, okay, you can quit your job now. So that's how we kind of started combining it together.
As a kid, I was more into like muscle car restoration type of stuff, which I still love that. I love taking something that looks all old and beat up and making it look brand new again. It's super rewarding, you know? But after a while, that stuff kind of gets boring because you already know what the car's gonna look like. You know, if it's a stock car, you're putting it back to the way it was. And, you know, so it gets kind of dull. So and I wanted to do more custom stuff where I'm making my own thing and doing what I want, you know? And so it started with that with my dad, and then I just started acquiring a little bit of tools here, a lot of, you know, reading books, looking at stuff on the internet, and it just kind of, you know, I keep trying to just push and, you know, push my skills to where I'm making something from completely just flat sheets.
And his family, he leaves out, they're all machinists.
True.
So
we
he
do
grew up
that
in a
too,
machine
yeah.
shop. That was, you know, so he had access to larger tools and things that normal people and kids didn't.
Yeah.
And so, and his dad was into drag racing and things like that. So he kind of tagged along. So it was kind of, I think it's when it comes natural to you, you know, you're like, you forget how you got into it.
Yeah.
But
my dad was a tool and
was,
die maker his whole life.
Yeah.
So it's just like, it's instilled in me, you know?
So he measures everything to like the millionth.
Yeah.
Takes forever to build anything.
I can't help it. It just, that's the way it is, you know? I mean, the first step is got to get down, taken down to bare metal and see what you have to work with, because to go over something that's already there, it's not the right way to do it, first of all, and it's going to come back to bite you. And, you know, it's our reputation, so we want to do things the right way. So strip it, fix whatever needs to be fixed, or if we're doing custom stuff, you know, we'll get a rendering made, or, you know, sit down with the client, see what he wants, and kind of sketch something out.
But we also say what we want to.
True.
We've learned that whatever we put on the street, we want to be proud of.
Right.
And sometimes people may not have the same idea of what's cool as we do. And so we've definitely learned that we would rather say no to somebody who may not have the same style guide as us. And so we would rather if people come to us because they appreciate our style. So we learn when to say no. Yeah, we try to steer them, you know, so we learn when to say no and when to, like, you know, when the customer is right, so.
And then it works its way up from there. You know, then we move on to the body shop, paint work, assembly, all the normal stuff to get to something like that. A lot of hours.
I mean, expression is like unlimited. You can do whatever you want to a car. I think that's why customizing a car is the coolest form of expression. You can go as modest or as crazy as you want. And so I think, you know, we're really into like the Art Deco eras and stuff. And so that's something that we like to express a lot. And I think that's something that we carry through in a lot of our design and
for sure.
build.
And especially this car, because this one's ours, so we're poured into this as much as you can be.
Yeah.
So.
Well, you think that there's secrets, and I think that's kind of our initial idea of the car scene, was that, you know, how do they build that, or how do they do this, or how do they do that? But honestly, the deeper we've gotten into it as a business, we've been so welcomed, and there's so many bigger builders out there that have really helped us, whether it's how to machine something or paint something or their techniques, how they got something another way or how they run their business. It's been very like welcoming, which we didn't expect at first.
No, it's super surprising.
We thought it was gonna be super, because there are some people that are competitive and not as welcoming, but you quickly find your people. It's just a blessing, you know, to have somebody come to you to do something that we get to build from nothing pretty much with our hands and produce something, and we're getting paid to do it. You know, to me, that's why it's live free, because we're living free from, you know, we're making our own rules and we get to do what we want to do and make a living off of it, which is awesome.
I mean, there's nothing better than that. And it makes all the hard work and all the late nights and the being upset that something's not working out the way you wanted it, but in the end, when you have that card done and the client loves it and other people are just like, oh my God, it's nothing better.